asking you if you wrote the songs with a vocal-only concept in mind for the new album, or did the songs exist before that?
I guess it's different methods with every song. I guess 2 or 3 years ago when I started just slowly getting very obsessed with anything vocal, and I started losing interest in like instruments, and I started kind of hoping maybe that I could do a vocal-only album. I mean, I wasn't even sure that was possible until like right at the end of the album that it sort of came together. But pretty early on, I realized that if I was going to do a whole album with vocals, the songs would have to be very different from each other for the album not to be like flat, you know. So there were some songs I first wrote like all the structure and everything on like keyboard, and then replaced them with vocals. And then there were other songs that had to be just written only with vocals, like either with mine or like written with the particular singer in mind. So I think I can say that every song was done in a slightly different way. So just to get that different like texture or different kind of, you know, that you could feel that it was a different place, you know, like that every song would be like a different place. It wouldn't just be like a one, what do you say, like a computer program that would just kind of lull through the whole album. I really went out of my way to have different work ethic on songs.
Now, I understand for this album you threw out a lot of your lyric writing conventions as well. Tell me how you went about writing lyrics for the album.
Yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to. I think in a lot of ways with this album, I was going back to a place where I was kind of 18, 19, where I was in bands, and I was probably being quite intuitive. I was just kind of like singing along and not analyzing what I was doing, and maybe just saying a lot of words that to me maybe not naturally make sense, but it was kind of like, what do you call it what's it called in English? Like sort of a flow of consciousness, whatever, like kind of improvised. Sort of. So I guess because maybe Vespertine, my last album, I took it as far as I can to be quite almost scientific with the lyric writing, because I wanted the album to be about being introverted, being antisocial, kind of underneath your duvet in your bed, just creating a magical world, you know, underneath your pillow. And kind of, that was almost like how can I write 12 songs about that, you know? I was really excited about this album to not be that scientific about it, just to kind of like, just sing and sing and sing and be quite physical, you know, like just let whatever comes out come out, you know? Mm-hmm. And then maybe afterwards you can sit down with your librarian hat on and kind of analyze.
Well, you once said that writing a song is like organizing an accident. Is that sort of what you mean?
I think so. I think I still feel that way. I think, especially with recording music, I feel even more so as I get older. Maybe my songwriting has gone more mature as I get older, and I can literally sit down in a chair for a few hours. You know, I'm not as restless as I used to be. So I can. It's more like I'm doing embroidery now, or with that sort of attention span, you know. But I still feel that way about recording, because especially on this album when it was mostly singers, because what's so great about the voice is that you can't hide anything, you know. If some singer is feeling shy or not in the mood to sing or cold or distant or whatever, it's better to wait, you know, like, and just to find the right moment. Sometimes I would spend some time and we would do just other stuff that was not about singing at all, and you know, you just go and get drunk or go for a walk or tell a joke or I don't know, whatever stupid stuff, and then all of a sudden press record and do it, you know. And then in that sense, it's sort of like organizing an accident. That finding the right moment. I guess that's the luxury of making albums. It's something you obviously can't do live.
Well, I'm curious if you could tell me about your process for channeling inspiration into a song.
Okay. I guess I'm the sort of person that if I don't write a song, I get like bottled up, you know. I get like I don't feel good, you know. So as much as I would like, I mean, say for example that tomorrow I would say that I'm not going to write more songs for some reason. I would still have to do it because it's kind of like if I don't do it, I just don't feel good, you know. It sort of starts building up like a thunderstorm or something, and so it's sort of a natural function, you know, like, or you could say it's like a survival mechanism almost, and so. I'm not so sure if I go and look for inspiration, but I do go out of my way and through the years, believe me, done a thing or two to try to figure out how to get that thunderstorm out in a reasonably pleasant manner.
Going with that, would you describe a spiritual element to what you do?
I would say it is so, but then again, I think it's a spiritual element in everything, really. I mean, it's you know, walking down the street, it's spiritual, or it can be silly, or it's sort of up to the person, you know. Like, I don't think music. I wouldn't say that music is religious or something like that. I think that's kind of generalized too much, you know. But I can say that I feel that making music and listening to music just as much is a spiritual thing to me. But it also is a lot of other things, you know. It's fun. It's sad. It's silly. It's I guess that's one of the reasons why I like music a lot. It's that it has a very direct contact to the whole emotional range.
I'm curious what spirituality means to
you. Yeah, I guess I'm not a philosopher for sure. Probably why I ended up with you. I don't know. I would like to think that each person has their own spirituality. Overall, I do disagree a lot with any organized religion. I think it suffocates our own voice. And I think we all have our little corners, you know, where I think it's important to discover your own little method. However you do that, if it's waking up in the middle of the night and staring out of the window, or it's mountain climbing, or having crazy sex, or getting drunk, or just being silent. Yeah, probably losing the plot here. I think that's something that each person has to find for themselves.
There's a general idea out there that the new album is making statements about the state of the world, lack of hope, and terrorism. Is that the case?
I mean, I think it's been exaggerated a little bit. I think it's kind of easy way out. I would say maybe 5 or 10% of the album is about that. But the other 90%, it's about other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's almost the point of it, that I just think life is pretty colorful thing, It's, one moment you're driving a car, and next moment your friend tells you that family member died, and he's crying, and then you missed your bus, and get caught in the rain, and you go dancing in a discotheque, and you're euphoric, and it's just quite a thing in life, It's like people out there starving and losing their jobs and winning in the lotto, and it's a lot of things going out there, and I think maybe politics is not that important, really. So I guess the album was kind of about that, celebrating all the other stuff. The politics is,
Let me ask you how you've evolved as a songwriter over the course of your career.
Yeah, I guess that was never like my first thought. I always knew I would do something about music. I didn't know if it would be like run a radio program or a music school or play the drums, which that was my first idea what I thought I would be doing, or what it would be. But it sort of ended up that my sense of like my self-sufficiency, or kind of like, well, if somebody else isn't doing it, I'll do it, I think that's kind of been quite a strong impact in my job, I guess. that I was in a punk band, and I played the drums, and nobody would sing, so I ended up doing it. And then I was in a band, and we were all writing songs together, and if nobody would come up with good ideas for sections, I would come up with sections, and then the band wouldn't, kind of got a bit ran out of ideas, I guess. So I ended up doing my own album with ideas. So it's sort of overall was kind of done out of necessity, really. And I guess it isn't that hard after all to write songs. So that's kind of roll up your sleeves, I don't know. I guess we all have songs inside it. That's the easy part. The hard part is how to document it or how to get it out of yourself.
Have you become better at it?
I would like to think so. I would like to think so that that's something actually that one of the good things about getting older is that I don't think you necessarily become a better musician or a better songwriter, but you become much better for documentarist. Is that the right word? Like somebody who can document something. So you know when is the best part of the next 2 months for you to sing, and what situation would make you sing the best, and what sort of equipment you need, and what sort of arrangement would have to be done. And so, like, experience helps you, that side of you, sort of the one who documents what you do, becomes much better at it, you know? And I think that's very important.
I'm wondering if you can describe your first big creative epiphany.
I guess I can think of me walking to school as a child, and I had to walk like half an hour to school, and it's sort of in nature, so, and it was all sort of weather, so it'd be like snowing and windy and sunny and whatever, and so singing kind of became like my way of getting from point A to B, you know, and writing like a song on the way. And I guess these sort of have been my sharpest peaks, really. And I probably didn't realize it till like 20 years later or something what actually I was doing, you know. I was just a kid, you know. But there were a lot of musical peaks there. Singing at the top of my lungs, and just as a vocalist too, I would probably start off with really quiet stuff, and then slowly build up to a chorus. So, and then, which would be more straining for the voice, and then I would go back to the second verse where it'd be more calm, and the second chorus would be like double peak, you know. So, in a way, it was almost also just warming up your voice, you know, without knowing I was doing that. The melodies naturally warm up the voice. So if you started from the top of the song and sung it through, at the end of the song you got a warm vocal chord, you know, like the natural way. So I guess in many ways I would have to, that's sort of the first thing that comes in mind when I walks to school as a kid.
What were the songs about?
I guess they were sort of about just what I was doing, and mostly about other people, like, that I didn't understand, like grown-ups. I thought they were quite awkward creatures. And I guess Human Behaviour, like my first single in '93, was probably one of those melodies where I'm a bit, sort of wondering about humans, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're quite peculiar. Yeah, but there will also just be silly songs like, you know, the happy song or the angry song or whatever.
How do you measure whether or not a song you've written is worthy of public consumption?
Usually you can feel it. You can like totally feel it like while you're doing it, you know? It's that really thin line between being self-indulgent and generous. It's like a really thin line, and also if you're just kind of singing old stuff, you know, like you've sung before, or it's like if the feeling of it is like repetition, you know, like it's not fresh. Like it has to have a little step of entering the unknown, you know. Also, I guess also on top of that, I'm probably an old school romantic in the sense that I think even though you sometimes write songs about dark stuff, and the songs start on the bottom, the purpose of the song, or the root of the song, the end of it, you should come out the other end. You should come out like through a tunnel. It should be a happy ending, you know? But I'm quite a old school romantic like that. So I'm not too into songs that are just about like self-pity or kind of self-indulgence. I kind of usually look at them as like little, like that you're on your way to something else. That's not something that you publish, but it's something that is like something that will take you to like the next step. Rehearsals, yeah.
You seem to have this need to continue to evolve and to continue to learn as a musician instead of standing still. Can you tell me about that restlessness, that need to keep moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's mostly, I just get really easily bored. I've got like a retarded sense of, my attention span is like terrible, you know? That I'll like get a favorite record and I'll play like all day, every day, and then one morning I'll wake up and I'm like over it, you know? And I'm not particularly proud of it. I think it's like the teenager in me. But I guess on the other sense you could defend it because as a musician, I'm a vocalist, so I'm always going to have the same vocal cords. Like, they're not going to change, you know? And it's always me who's writing the songs, and it's always me who's writing the lyrics, so there's already so many things given that are not going to be different, you know? So, I guess so because of that, half of me is pretty conservative. The other half of me is like a kid in a toy store, you know, like, just wants to go to new places, you know, and I'm usually excited about new stuff. But I guess one more reason for it could be that I was like in bands for 10 years where it didn't matter what sort of song we wrote, it was always arranged for drums, guitar, and bass. It just got really boring. So maybe now I'm kind of making up for that. Just trying everything else or something.